So in the midst of me working out, I'm getting healthy. One day I was at work. I'm like, I don't feel right. I'm like, something is wrong. I'm thinking it was the flu or something, because I was having stomach issues. I'm like, maybe it's the flu or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I noticed it proceeded throughout the whole week. So I'm like, oh no, Ashley, you
Yeah.
need to. So I tried to go to like a little minor care. They was like, well, we don't accept your insurance. You need to go to the ER. Went to the ER. I get a CAT scan. They do all everything they needed to do. They come back. I had a doctor come. I had a nurse practitioner come, and I had two nurses come to me. And they was like, "We're gonna have to meet you in a hospital and watch you because."
All right, what's up? What's up? This is the ChoppedByT podcast where we get real, raw, authentic conversations. I'm your host T, and to the right of me we got Ashley. Tell them what's up.
Hey y'all, what's up?
Yeah, I'm actually glad to get you on the show. It's been a long time coming now, and we managed to get the dates right. So I appreciate you for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I want to get right into it. We mentioned something. You mentioned something when we spoke over the phone about you and overcoming your health problems.
Yeah.
Would you like to elaborate on that for me?
Yeah. Well, first, I never thought I'd get to this point where it'll be a health condition. I was recently in 2020 diagnosed with Chiari malformation type 1. A lot of people don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't.
I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, ugh. Because before I get into it, I want to say in college, I didn't have any experiences. Graduated 2016, perfectly fine. Moved back to Memphis. I started having these dizzy spells. I didn't understand where they was coming from. And I'm like, why am I having dizzy spells? Like, it's to the point where I could be laying down in my head just, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? I could barely even laugh.
Yeah.
I would have pressure in the back of my head. So I was working at the hospital at the time. I was working at Methodist South. And I was like, you know what? While I got this health coverage, let me go and get checked out and see what was going on.
Right.
So they end up doing the CAT scans and stuff like that. And I want to say I got that done in 2019. 2020, during the height of COVID, we literally had just shut down. I had a 6-month follow-up, and she called me, and she was like, Miss Porter, we looked at your scans, and we see that you have Chiari malformation type 1. So at this point, I'm like, what is this? Like, never heard of it, nothing.
Yeah.
But by the grace of God, I'm glad it wasn't cancer, because that's the first thing, like brain cancer. I don't know why I thought that way. So she explained it to me, but I couldn't really just quite understand what it was still. So I did my own research, and basically it's where the back of your cerebellum, where the fluid flows, it doesn't flow properly to the spine. So it's like that fluid is just sitting at the beginning of your spine, just sitting there building up. So if I don't get surgery, it can cause me to be paralyzed. Yeah. And so over time, they're like, we need to do like I think it was a decompression surgery to relieve that fluid and allow it to flow smoothly to my spine. Some of the symptoms I can have random dizzy spells. They come out of nowhere. Pressure, vertigo, where I have like the side of my arm or something go numb. So I can't sleep. It's normally on my left side. So I can't sleep on my left side. I have to sleep like on my right side or my back. Just with sometimes nausea, stuff like that. But when the neurologists, they looked at it and they saw how much of a fluid, they was like, your balance is fine. They did like a neuro test on me, and they was like, how are you still functioning with this fluid? And I'm like, And so I was scheduled to have surgery in 2020. But in 2020, a lot of stuff was happening. Had lost a brother at the time. The house that we was in, we had to move out. So it was a lot going on. So I was just like, well, okay, I'm just going to push the surgery back. Fast forward to, I waited like 2 years later. I'm still functioning. I'm like, because I'm scared to have this surgery because that's your brain. You know what I'm saying? But I was just in the moment, and I was like, I don't, want to think about that. Fast forward to, I kept having more symptoms. At this point, it got worse. I was like, okay, I'm going to ask you, you're going to have to have this surgery.
Yeah.
So I want to say, fast forward to, which will jump me into my second health condition. But before I get into that, I followed with the neurologist earlier this year, and he was like, that fluid is still building up.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want you to wait to the last minute. He said it's not something where it's like, oh my God, we gotta have it done by tomorrow.
Yeah.
But he like, I don't want it to build up and then to the point where he can't do nothing.
Right,
and like I'm literally, and I believe in God. I don't.
Let me ask you, is it a one-time surgery or is it like a recurring
So
surgery?
it's different for everybody. So basically the surgery just helps relieve the fluid so it can flow properly, and then it relieves the symptoms. Some people had the surgery, still have symptoms.
Yeah.
It's kind of like cancer. It progressed. So you have type 1 and it goes to type 4. I have type 1, which is you can go about life with it.
Right.
So it's not as severe. But that's really it. But I am going to eventually have surgery. I think I'm just waiting to finish up grad school and kind of get through that. And then I'll have time to have surgery and recover.
Yeah. So let me ask you, okay, with the surgery, the whole, like you said, well, let me rewind back. You said that you lost a brother during this time.
Yes.
Was it, how did you lose your brother?
Well, I don't know if I can go into detail. It was drug related.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It was I have two twin brothers. My father, he had kids before he was with my mom. Yeah, and it was one of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he passed.
How did that affect you in that moment?
It was a lot to process.
Yeah.
I don't think it was expected at all.
Yeah.
And I think it hurts because I can't remember the last time I actually had a conversation or talked to him. It's just a lot with that dynamic.
Yeah.
But growing up, we were all close. My daddy made sure we had a relationship. But I think as time went on, as adults, everybody kind of did their own thing.
It happens.
But we still like kept up with each other on social media and like Facebook and stuff like that. Like check in, like hey brother, hey sister, something like that. But it wasn't like consistent as it should have.
Yeah.
So that whole dynamic, that was a lot.
Yeah.
And that's actually when that happened, I started to grow a really strong, close relationship with God during that time. I was like, okay, we finna change some stuff.
Yeah.
We finna change some stuff. So yeah.
What was that? What was that journey to getting a better relationship with God? What does that look like?
So with that, it was like praying more, being more disciplined, and just having a strong relationship with Him, because it let me know tomorrow is not promised to us.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, I was like, oh my God, like you gotta love on your people. Like, don't wait to the last minute, or I don't care if you upset with them, something went left, whatever. Try to reach out, like extend that olive branch, because you just never know.
Yeah.
And I wish we had a stronger relationship, but it done happened now. So we can't rewind time, but we can only move forward. It was love there. Don't get me wrong, but I just think it was just a lot in that.
Yeah.
I guess with the parents, and like I said, I'm not gonna go into detail,
right. I got you.
But that dynamic, it sucks.
Yeah, it's different, especially when you have different moms.
Yeah.
I deal with that with my sibling. We got different moms, and it's just hard, for us to gel like that. And my situation was even worse because me and him, we went years. Our first time meeting each other, I was 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 16 years old, and I had just got out of court that day, and I got put on probation. And I was just in the streets doing whatever, and that night I ended up running into him just by chance.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey," I'm like, "What up?" And I'm just looking at him. He's like, "I think you may be my brother,"
Wow.
and that's how we ended up. Because I always heard of him and knew his name, but I never met him. I was probably 16 years old the first time.
How is that now? Do y'all still talk?
We still don't really gel as well. It's not because we don't want to. It's just it's too much of a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get that part. I get that part. So you said in those moments though, all right, getting closer to God, because I think I'm in that stage right now myself of just trying to establish a better relationship with God, and that's why I'm so curious about your journey. I know you told me just praying more, but what else comes with that?
So I'll say the different things I did. So I started off with a prayer jar. So I would do prayer jars. And my friends, I say, hey, if you got a prayer, I text them, send me your prayer. So I was putting prayers in the prayer jar. And in the midst, like in 20, we had to move. So I was just like praying very detailed, asking God what I wanted in my own space. And I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
So I think with me, like praying more, actually having open conversations with other people about God and having a relationship with Him, going to church more, and just being present with Him. You know, I think that's what helped me, you know. And then I was like, especially with the passing, health conditions, all this stuff like that, I said, let me start praying. I got to start praying. I got to get a closer relationship. I didn't have that coming up. I knew who God was.
Right.
But I'm just like, Ashley, do you really have a relationship with Him? And I'm like, we're getting older. Tomorrow's not promised. People was passing from COVID.
Yeah.
It was just a whole bunch of stuff.
A really rough time.
Yeah.
I heard, I think it was Steve Harvey, he said that one of his prayers was, he told God that, you know, give me this thing and whatever the thing was. And he said, I'll make sure that everyone knows who you are in your name. So when you said that just now, it made me think of that statement that he said.
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy because I can tell I've grown a lot. Like my mindset has changed tremendously compared to how I was to how I am now.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I had got an Uber to go pick the rental car up, and I was talking to this lady, and she brought up God. She was playing like gospel in the car and stuff, and we were just having an open conversation. And she was like, "You have an old soul." I was like, "I get that a lot." It's like you got a baby face with an old soul, and it's a good feeling. And I'm like, just to be able to have an open conversation and talk about God. I noticed I put Him in a lot of my conversations now. Even if it's a dude, I'll be like, you know, what's your relationship like with God? You believe in God. Like, what we doing? So it's important. And it's just, it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling because you know, without a doubt, God got you.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you're going through, He got you. And that's how I feel with my health. God got me. I'm going to be all right.
For sure. So you decided that you possibly want to get the surgery, and then something else came up.
Yes. So last year I was currently working at the gym or whatever, and I fell. I went through some stuff. And so I ended up working part-time at the gym. I was like, okay, let me just see if this is where I can get back on my feet.
Right.
I was like, okay, I knew I wanted to be intentional. I wanted to do work on my health overall.
Right.
Because I was kind of a little thicker. I was like, okay, we need to fix this, friend. So I was working there, and my trainer, he was very like faith-based, Christian man. So it was perfect. It worked together. He was like sending me Bible scriptures, and we go work out, and we go, you got it, girl. So, you know, it worked out. So I'm like, okay, cool. So in the midst of me working out, I'm getting healthy. One day I was at work. I'm like, I don't feel right. I'm like, something is wrong. I'm thinking it was the flu or something, you know, because I was having stomach issues. I'm like, maybe it's the flu or something. I don't know. So I noticed it proceeded throughout the whole week. So I'm like, oh, no, Ashley. You need to, you know. So I tried to go to like a little minor care. They was like, well, we don't accept your insurance. You need to go to the ER. Went to the ER. I get a CAT scan. They do all everything they needed to do. They come back. I had a doctor come, I had a nurse practitioner come, and I had 2 nurses come to me. And they was like, we're going to have to meet you in a hospital and watch you, because it was kind of confusing what each one of them was saying. One person was like, your colon is inflamed. Another person was like, your appendix is inflamed. I'm like, okay, which one is it? Like, you know.
For sure.
So at this point, I'm scared. I'm nervous because I'm like, what is going on? I'm thinking it's the flu or stomach bug or something. So they keep me overnight. They give me antibiotics. I'm on a strict fluid diet. So the lady comes in. She was like, well, what you need to do is you need to schedule an appointment with a gastro doctor and to get a colonoscopy possibly done. So I'm like, okay. So they send me home with antibiotics. Okay. So at this point, my best friend, like, I think it's best you stay with your parents during this time because you taking all these antibiotics. We don't want nothing to happen.
Right.
So I'm like, you're right. So I go to my mom and dad's house. They're ministering, making sure I'm good. End up having a reaction to the antibiotics. Had to go right back to the hospital. And they was like, we don't see anything. You know, it's gone. You know, stop taking the antibiotics. And I'm just like, you don't know who to trust. I'm like, oh my God. So I think after that, I finally get a gastro doctor. And because I'm still having pain. Around this time, it's my birthday. So not only I started losing weight, not only was I losing weight from working out, but I started losing weight because of the stomach condition that I developed and didn't even know it. And because people was like, oh, you lost weight. You know, I'm like, okay, half of this came from me working out, but the other half came from what was going on. And I didn't know. And so I want to say I ended up having my colonoscopy done in February of this year. And they found that I have mild diverticulosis. So with that, it's like you have small pockets on your colon. So it's certain things I can and cannot eat or it'll get inflamed. So I can't eat like nuts, seeds, popcorn, corn. I can't even eat anything hot no more. I used to love hot food. And I was there, you go to Church's Chicken, get you a biscuit with a jalapeno and get you some wings. You know, I like my hot food. Can't eat it no more. Can't eat it no more. So I found that I had that. I'm like, okay, we got to change our way of eating. So I have to learn my body all over again. And with that can be frustrating. I was so frustrated because I still didn't know what to eat.
I get it.
I didn't know what to eat. I'm like, dang, Ashley, you got to learn your body all over again. So I try to tell people, take care of yourself. Go to your doctor's appointments. Even if you feel good, you just never know. And I don't know if you know, on TikTok, a lot of young people are starting to develop colon cancer or Crohn's disease and stuff like that with their stomach. I feel like they putting stuff in the food.
Listen, you have every right to believe that because it's so much, like, after this, you know, COVID stuff and everything that went on with the vaccines and all that, you just never know.
You never know.
No, I agree.
And like my friends and stuff was shocked. They was like, Ashley, you eat pretty clean and you eat pretty good. So I'm like, not all the time. You know, I like my Dixie Queen. If you're from Memphis, get a greaser bag. So I don't know, but I literally have to learn my body all over again. So it's like now I'm trying to see, okay, I have to eat certain fruits that don't have certain seeds in it. I can't even eat strawberries no more because of the small seeds. I just have to like dibble and dab and figure out what it is that is healthy but it's good. I still have my moments. I don't eat the best all the time, but I just in moderation. I be like, okay, so yeah.
In a way, that's a blessing though.
Yeah, it's crazy. I prayed for that. I told God I wanted to be physically, mentally, and emotionally healthier. Physically, I wasn't, and I said I wanted to lose weight. I'm like, God, I know I said I want to lose weight, but not like this. Yes. So, it's crazy because on my Instagram, I want to say it was earlier last year. It was around my birthday. I had posted a difference. I think I was weighing at 185, and then during my birthday last year, I was 155. Now I'm down to 135. I'm going to keep it in there. I'm happy. And I said, friend, we going to stay between 135 and 155. We ain't going to go no further.
That's a good weight, though.
And I'm happy. And people tell me, you look good, Ashley. I feel good, though. They were like, you look really good. It took me a minute to get adjusted to my new body because all my clothes was big on me and stuff like that. And I did feel a type of way. But they was like, Ashley, you still got your little curve, your little shape. They were like, you look good. And I was like, okay. And I started embracing it, and I love it. And I'm proud of myself. That's why I think it's important to be very detailed when you ask God for something. Because he'll give it to you, but not the way you expect it. And I lost my weight, but I didn't expect to lose it this way. But it's a blessing because now it's giving me a chance to eat more fruits, eat more vegetables, be more intentional with what I'm just putting in my body. And I asked God that. I'm like, God, allow me to crave more fruits, more vegetables, things that are good for my body, you know, and not the junk. Like I said, it's still a process because I still don't eat the best. I'm human. But I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get there.
With your, let me ask you with your spirituality, because I'm gonna tell you something that I told you. My friend, he, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before. He passed away, and it was from, yeah, thank you. And it was from drugs, right? It was drug related, and often I actually just had a dream about him last night. Now that I said that, so I dream about him. I never dream about, people that pass away in my life. I had so many people pass away, but I never dream about that. But I seem to dream about him a lot, and he comes to me a lot. Has that ever been the case with you?
I've never experienced that. Yeah. Is it crazy? I kind of want to experience that.
Yeah.
I'm not scared, but I would love to get that experience to see what that feels like. Yeah. And just I think it puts a lot of people who do experience that, they say they're more at peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they feel like better,
And you can also for me, sometimes I revisit those moments and it provides comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to experience it from a loved one, I know a lot of people when it comes to spirituality and like the faith-based people, how can I say it? They'll feel a certain type of way. So you know how you have a Christian and then you have like astrology and then you have like the spiritual, all that stuff like that. A lot of people don't like to intertwine those things. Yeah. Well, you got to be one way. You ain't got to think, no, I believe in God, but I believe in the spiritual realm too. Yeah. I believe in all this stuff, Because I feel like we're souls and we're spirits having a human experience. We're just having a human experience. And I feel like my trainer actually asked me, because he still calls and check up on me and stuff like that. And he was like, Ashley, do you think it's a difference between a soul and a spirit? And I was like, huh? Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. It had me thinking. He's like, do you think it's a difference? I was like, yeah. I think it is. And so he was like, okay, I'm going to let that sit with you. Yeah. Sit with you. I was like, okay. And I was like, dang, I never thought to think like that or ask somebody, do they think it's a difference between a soul and a spirit as far as like within? Yeah. So, yeah.
What did you come up with, though?
I think I told him, I can't remember. I think I told him a soul. I was like, your soul, I say, it's just the human body, and then it's your soul within. And your soul is what you, I guess, feel or experience or what you take in. Because, like, I feel like once you die and you pass away, your soul goes on, Just like the movie Soul with Jamie Foxx. Yeah. So it's like your soul continues on and just go. I do feel like we're reincarnated. Like some of us, we've been here before. Yeah. We've been here before. And I actually saw, I wish I knew this lady's name, but I watched her TikTok the other day. And when I tell you that lady broke something down, it scared the crap out of me. So she was basically saying, to sum it up, she said, our souls know, we pick our parents. So she said, our souls pick our parents. And she said, whatever it is that we're called to do on this earth is correlated with our parents. So, for example, I think she was basically saying how her family experienced like mental health and like health, and like her parents were sickly and stuff like that. So she said she put that in them. Like her assignment on this earth, she deals with people who have mental issues and health issues. And then she said, you also pick your siblings, because she said her siblings, also one of her, I think it's her sister, had a mental health issue as well. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. Because me, I love public health. I love health in general, and I love education. I always try to figure out how can I combine the two. So when I was at MTSU, I started off in nursing and then ended up in public health. And now I'm getting my master's in public health. And then my parents are both sickly. And then I have this health condition now. So I'm like, that makes sense. Why I have such a desire and a feel for that. Like, I want to educate people on that. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, I said that on one of the episodes. It's from the time I was 18. It's crazy how it all worked. I'll even go back from the beginning. And my vision was really bad when I was born. So they thought I would be blind. So they put me in the vision class. And I grew up in a small place. So everything was all together. The people who was visually impaired or hearing impaired, we would all be with the kids who had intellectual disabilities. So because of that, and we were, I guess, for lack of a better word, normal, we would take care of them and help out with them in class.
Wow.
So I kind of developed a passion in that way from there. And when I turned 18, I still remember that it led to me getting a job with people with intellectual disabilities. And I worked there from 18 to 25. But fast forward to me now being 30 years old, I am taking care of my mother.
Wow.
And all of the tools that I learned from those times led me to be able to take care of her now.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh my God, God is so good.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they just the whole 360 of that. Like you don't see it right then and there, but as you get older, you start seeing it for what it is.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is.
It'll make faith, your faith stronger.
And I think that's what I've begun to develop. Like my faith is unmatched.
Yeah.
Unmatched. Like I might freak out a little bit, but I'm like, you know what? It ain't nothing God done brought you through. You know, He done brought me through literally any and everything.
Yeah.
You know, even when my dad fell sick, he fell sick twice in 2021 and 2022. You talking about distraught? I was like, this is a lot. And the second time my daddy fell sick, he had bleeding on the brain because he had to get he ended up having a hypertension and he had kidney failure.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he started dropping weight. I was like, I'm not used to seeing him like that.
It's your hero.
Yeah, he's used to taking care of my mom because my mom is sickly and she's a stay-at-home mom, so he was used to taking care of her and being a provider. Then he fell sick, so the roles had reversed. So I was just looking, I'm like, I'm not used to this. This is a lot. On top of doing grad school and working.
Yeah.
Like I had to stop working to help out. I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I need my daddy here.
Oh,
I
yeah.
told him, I said, I call him old man. I'm like, I need you walking down the aisle, sir.
Yeah.
I need you to be here.
Yeah.
Because when my man comes,
Yeah.
I need you to be right there.
Yeah.
But when he fell sick and stuff like that, and then when he had to go in and get a procedure done, I think he was doing dialysis, so he had to get a fistula, and he had to. It was something that they needed to do, and his doctor was actually out of town, and so they had another person do it, and it went left. It went left, and next thing you know, he ended up downtown at Methodist University and they called my mom like, okay, you're gonna have to make some decisions because your husband got bleeding on the brain.
Wow.
So they had to basically do a opening and drain that fluid, excessive fluid and blood off the brain. And when I tell you, when you got a family that pray on both my mom and dad's side, when I say pray, praying, I was in the car by myself when my mama called and told me that. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm crying. And I'm just asking God, like, to get my daddy through it. Get him through it. And he got my daddy through it. And it was a lot to take in. My daddy was in the hospital for like a month or so. He was in the hospital for a month. The first day he was there, he was unresponsive. And my mama, she was talking to him, and she said, you know, we got people praying for you, this, that, that. And she said he had a tear roll down his cheek. Oh, man. So he couldn't say anything, but he heard her. And I was just like, look at God. And when he woke up, he wasn't in his right mind. He was saying, like, all types of outrageous stuff, you know. But we knew that wasn't him. But they told him, they said it's going to take a time for him to get back to himself. So it was a lot trying to see him in that. And I think what scared me was he had made a comment to my mom, and he was like, where my daddy at? Both of his parents are deceased. I was like, oh. He was like, where my daddy at? He was like, my daddy want me to come and be with him. He's like, why you don't want me to go be with my daddy? You selfish. Wow. My mama told me that. I was starting crying. I was like, I was like, Mama, like, what if he saw them? Do you know what I'm saying? Because some people, they see they loved ones. And I was like, oh my God. I said, just don't tell me no more. Don't tell me no more. And he was like, he would always say that, where my mom at? Where my daddy at? And anybody that was deceased, he would bring them up. And I'm like, as if he must have saw them. And I was like, oh my God. And so he eventually grew out of it. And he went to rehab. And it was like a hospital rehab stay. He went through that, and he graduated from speech, all of that. And then they'll come to the home, and all that. And they was like, Mr. Wilson is good.
Yeah, he
you
back.
know, he done passed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so just to see my daddy then a year ago to now, you wouldn't even think he went through
Big
nothing.
difference. Yeah. God is real.
So that's why I tell him, like, Daddy, he be acting up. I'm like, all right. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
I need you to
Yeah.
come on, Dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's what really pushed my faith after that. I'm like, God got my daddy through that. He can get me through anything else.
Yeah.
You just gotta pray and you gotta believe. So
So where are you now?
now I still struggle a little bit, but my faith has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
I prayed and asked God to surround me around more people who have a relationship with Him. And so I recently, it's crazy. My cousin Amber, she texted me one day and she was like, Ashley, one of my coworkers is starting a group.
Yeah.
And she said, we're going to be doing like Bible study and we just going to come together, have basically like a sisterhood basing around like having a close relationship with God and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so they had their first meeting, but I wasn't able to make it to that one. But I made it to the second one, which was this past Sunday. And we had a little picnic, a little sunflower picnic. It was so nice. When I say so relaxing, I don't know if you've been to Memphis before, but we have this thing called Shelby Farms.
Yeah. I'm from that way. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we went to Shelby Farms. We had our stuff set out by the water. We had our church music going, a little food, and we had Bible study. And it was,
awesome.
it felt so good.
Yeah.
And the name of it is called Lovely Ladies in Christ.
Lovely Ladies in Christ. Can anybody join or is just
Yeah, anybody can join. It's 7 of us right now, but as time goes on, we're praying and hoping that we can bring on more women.
Yeah.
But it's probably one of the most best experiences ever. You don't feel judged.
Yeah.
You're just being your natural, authentic self. And wherever you fall short, they there to pick you up. It's been plenty of times where I'm texting, I'm like, okay, I need a prayer request, you know. And we get up every morning, every Monday. We get up at like 5:45 and we have a prayer call to start the week off. So yeah.
Do they have any social medias or anything like that?
No social medias, but I'm sure because it's still fresh. This all started, I want to say, in July. Yeah, July. Yeah, it started in July. So it's still fresh, but I'm sure she's going to start implementing more. And I'm actually over the next little big thing we have, and I call it Bible Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. So I came up with a couple of ideas of what we're going to do, but I love it. I love it. It's probably one of the best things ever. And I'm just praying, like, when my time come and I'm in a relationship, that my significant other has that foundation as well, because that's so important. That's so important.
Yeah, no, for sure. Who's the person that if anybody wanted to join, who would they contact to get in?
They will probably, I'm trying to see, it would either be her name is Kanisha. It'll either be her or it'll be Chantal.
Okay.
Those are the two. But if I get more information on it, and then we do end up getting like a Instagram social media platform, of course I'm gonna blast it on there. Yeah. So and we're gonna go on trips and stuff, like Bible trips and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
What I'll probably do is just have you give me their those two, give me their social media or something like that, and I'll just post it on here if they don't mind. So listen, I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, of course. I've been looking forward to this episode. Your story is, it's amazing. Still have been through all the things you've been through health-wise, just things that you can't control, and still keep a smile and manage to, get through it and still keep your faith. Yeah. That's the most important thing, because a lot of people lose faith.
That's true. That's true. I thank God for it. I'm like, I'm going to be all right.
Oh, yeah, always. I think you should keep that about yourself no matter what. That's important. Yeah. But again, thank you for coming on. If you're watching right now, I need you to go get the merch. Go get the merch. You can find it at www.ChoppedByTpodcast.com. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Ashley, I appreciate you coming on.
No problem. Thank you again for having me. It is a blessing.
Yeah,
thank you. Look, hopefully I come back.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Anytime you want to, just let me know. Anytime you're free and you're in the area.
Have some new stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, this is a ChoppedByT podcast where we get real, raw, authentic conversations. Until next time.